Season 5 of Warzone is finally here, and with it comes a brand new long-range meta. There have been buffs, nerfs, new attachments, and new weapons that shake up the meta that we've been used to. Now, I've already put over a dozen hours of in-game gameplay testing out all of these. I've also dropped multiple 30 bombs. I've already dropped nukes as well. So you can trust me when I say not only are these statistically the best loadouts, but they also feel good to use as well. Now, I haven't been posting as much this summer because I've been enjoying the first summer with my newborn baby boy, but I also am anticipating locking in over these next few months because we have Call of Duty next in less than a month. We're going to be enjoying this Season 5 update, and then we have Black Ops 6 as well. So do me a favor, drop a like, not only to help get this into the algorithm, but also make sure you have notifications on because we have a lot of amazing content coming in these upcoming weeks. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So there are two attachments that you hopefully have heard of, and it is the Quartermaster Suppressor and it's the Paracord Grip. Now, the reason these are so amazing is they help out with our horizontal recoil control. Minus 15% for the Paracord Grip, and notice it also, unlike most attachments, does not hurt our ADS speed. Compare that to something like the Bruin Heavy Support Grip, which hurts by 9%. The Paracord Grip doesn't hurt, and it actually helps out our sprint to fire and our ADS movement speed. Moving over to the Quartermaster, minus 23% on horizontal recoil control. We haven't had anything like that on the horizontal recoil control front, and it suppresses the weapon. Now, it does slow down our ADS speed, and unlike other suppressors like the Spirit Fire, it does not help out our bullet velocity. Notice the Spirit Fire helps out by 8%. The Quartermaster does not help out, but that minus 23%, this is like when everyone was using the Jack BFB and nothing else. It's basically going to be this. I almost have zero builds that don't include at least one of these two attachments. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how to get these, basically what you need to do is you need to go all the way back into the main menu, and you need to open up your challenges. In order to open up your challenges, you can see it's right here, just down at the bottom of my screen. You just press Y, go to your daily challenges, and then you can complete any of these daily challenges, whether it's zombies, multiplayer, battle royale, and you can also play and survive to earn points. And basically all that is just, I think you have to get top 5, or multiplayer, you win a match. And as you win those matches, it will give you points accumulating towards that unlock. Before you do any of that though, the daily challenges, what you need to do is go into your gunsmith and go all the way. For you, it'll be the very, very last one, and it'll be locked out. Then you're gonna press A and it'll activate the challenges, and then you complete those daily challenges and it'll unlock the suppressor for you, or the paracord. So make sure, go in, select both the Quartermaster and the Paracord Grip, activate those challenges, and then you can run through your daily challenges. It will unlock them. They are absolutely worth doing. Now, these loadouts will help you win your battles in game, but maybe you need some help with the battle in real life, and that's where the sponsor of today's video, Fume, can come in hand. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that helps you break your bad habit in a guilt-free way. Now, when you hear the words flavored air device, you might be thinking, Isaac, a vape? Like an e-cigarette? And no, it is nothing like that, okay? Fume has no combustion, no vapor, no batteries, no harmful chemicals, and most importantly, no addictive things like nicotine. You see, Fume is simply flavored air. And with amazing flavors like crisp mint and orange vanilla, you can help satisfy that oral fixation as you break that habit. Or maybe if the anxiety or the jitters are starting to act up, this is made to fidget with the cool snaps and clicks and the adjustable airflow dials to help calm your nerves and pass the tide. If you or a loved one are trying to kick that bad habit, Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you could be the next success story. For a limited time, you can use my code IceManIsaac to get the free Fume base, which is that magnetic stand you saw in the video. Head to tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use code IceManIsaac or scan the QR code on your screen to get a free Fume base when you order your journey pack today. A huge thank you again to Fume for sponsoring not only today's video, but many videos in the past as well. Several members of the Academy have vouched that Fume has helped them kick their bad habit, and who knows, maybe you can add this to your personal loadout if you're looking to kick that bad habit as well. Thanks again. Without further ado, let's get into long-range loadout number 1. It is the STG-44. And you guys know I don't gas up new weapons unless they're actually really worth using. And this thing is insane. It chunks people up close, unbelievably fast time to kill, but it also has such low recoil at long range that even when it doesn't have the fastest time to kill, and I'll show you the time to kill here in a moment, at range, its effective TTK, because it doesn't miss any bullets, is insanely good. It also has great bullet velocity. This is a must unlock and a must use. The STG is going to be one of the top 3 ARs in the game right now, in my opinion. Now, I will no longer recommend using the SVA 545, even though I love that weapon. Guns like this STG are so good that it kind of replaces the value prospect of the SVA. You know, the burst fire where it would fire 2 bullets at the same time. You just... It's just not worth it anymore because this gun is full auto, which is going to be more consistent. You don't have to spam fire, so it's going to be easier to track instead of spam firing while tracking. And in my opinion, this is the low recoil meta weapon. Okay, so we have the quartermaster suppressor. We talked about how good that is. Typically, I would recommend rocking something like the paracord, but this DR79 combo stock has unbelievable minus 21, 11, and 11. So that's why we're rocking that. We have the Jack Glassless for the clean iron sight, because the iron sight on this gun is horrible, or the optic. Optic on this gun is horrible. Covers up way too much. If someone were to drop shot in front of you, you're just going to completely miss it. So there's no world where I would ever run iron sights on this. We have the Ferngewehr 7.92 barrel, which helps out with our bullet velocity, and then the 50 round drum mag. Once again, under barrel isn't necessary because the stock is better. This is my STG 44 long range loadout. Moving on to build number 2, we have the Holger 2.6, and it's still insanely good. In fact, it got even better. We've rocked it in the past. It's kind of been like the meta AR or LMG, even for people running tournaments. And it just got even better because now we can rock those legendary attachments on top of it. Okay, we replaced the Spirit Fire for the Quartermaster. We replaced the Bruin Heavy Support for the Paracord. We keep the Holger Factory. We keep the Ascent Lord stock. We throw on the High Velocity, which brings us to 1,047 meters per second. And we've got a clean iron sight with very minimal recoil. If you guys didn't like iron sight builds before, and I'm going to try to show you as many iron sight options and optic options for multiple builds, so don't be skipping around, okay? Try it again with the new Quartermaster because it takes away a lot of that visual recoil where maybe you didn't like it before, but now, like if I'm able to see something very well in this firing range, which has this fluorescent lighting, which kind of causes some of that smoke to appear on your screen, when you're actually shooting in map, it's really not that bad at all. So trust me, this is what I'm rocking. This is one of my top builds. This is like a top 3 build for me as well. If I were you and you wanted to go ahead and rock this with an optic, I'll show you a different build here in a moment, but this is my meta iron sight build for the Holger 2.6. Make sure to screenshot. Now, if you want to rock an optic with it, what I would suggest is keep high velocity on, because without high velocity, we only have 873 meters per second. That is not worth doing. That's way too low. So what you can do is you can either ditch the Ascent Lord stock or you can ditch the Paracord grip. Me, I would probably try ditching the Ascent Lord stock, throwing on a Jack Glassless, so then we get rid of all that horizontal sway, but now we have that visual clarity that you like to see. You're gonna have a little bit more recoil, but that's something to trade out. You could either try with the Paracord or with the Ascent Lord stock, up to you. Me personally, I will deal with climb. I don't want something shaking off side to side. So this is my build with an optic. Moving on to long range loadout number 3, it is the MTZ 5.56, and it caught a massive buff because of these attachments. Now, we had the Holger 5.56 and the MTZ 5.56, which are extremely good, especially in small map, because of how fast their aim down sight is, compared to something like the Holger or the PKMs or the TAC Evolviers, all the other LMGs of the world. It's a lot snappier to use these guns. Now, the Holger 5.56 has a sharp vertical climb, fast. The MTZ had this S-curve, which made it really difficult for a lot of people to use. Well, fortunately, they just added on 2 attachments that take away horizontal recoil control, which allows us to beam people at those longer ranges significantly better than we used to. Now, this once again is still going to be an aggressive player's gun, but with the Quartermaster and the Paracord, it's significantly more easier to control with that horizontal side to side. We then have the MTZ clinch barrel. We have the high velocity to bring our bullet velocity up to 1,000, and then the 50 round drum mag. Now, if you're curious on how this stacks up against the other weapons, now we have all of the weapons that we're gonna cover today. We have the STG, unbelievable time to kill up close. Like, this is incredible, 600 milliseconds. And then at a range, it's pretty weak, but it shoots really straight, right? So that's pretty balanced. Then we have the Holger 2.6, which isn't as good up close, but chunks at longer ranges. Bring in the MTZ 5.56. It's better up close, and it's still pretty decent at long range, but especially when you factor in that ADS time, it starts to get a lot better. Now, for all of these times, and we're going to cover all of these weapons here in a moment, one thing that you should check out is this is 300 HP in combination TTK, because some guns have incredible headshot ratios or incredible low leg or stomach, but this is combination, kind of taking a mix of wherever you may randomly be hitting someone, so it's a little bit more of an accurate depiction. But as you can see right now, the lower the recoil, the less damage it's doing at range, and then it gets pretty balanced out there, the harder to control recoil weapons. As we can see, this MTZ 5.56 kills extremely fast, both mid-range and long-range. It's going to take a little bit more recoil control for the average player, but this is my iron sight build. If you guys want to throw an optic on it, it's going to be a little bit tough, right? I struggle to recommend getting rid of the high velocity, but since we're talking about using this on a small map, 900 meters per second is still very doable for a small map, and even big map possibly as well. You could throw on the Jack Glassless, which is also going to help out with that recoil control because it has firing, aiming stability. You're now going to have a clean sight to look at. And honestly, you probably may or may not feel that difference between 900 meters per second and like 1,050 meters per second. So if you prefer the clean optic, this is definitely something that you could be rocking with. Just keep in mind, it has a little bit of that side-to-side shake. This is my optic build for the MTZ556. Moving on to long-range loadout number 4, it is the BP50, and you gotta see the way this thing shoots, man. I was shocked with how straight this thing shoots. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, absolutely right now, don't get me wrong, I like the MTZ, but the BP is gonna be my favorite gun to use in terms of an AR. I still think the Holger is gonna be a little bit better. I think for the average player, the STG is gonna be a little bit better as well, but there's something so satisfying about how this gun shoots. I mean, crazy fast fire rate, almost zero recoil. It's a lot of fun to use. So the moat stock takes away a bunch of vertical shake, which is gonna be one of those reasons why we don't rock that paracord grip. For there, we have the lower heavy barrel. We have the quartermaster because it's so dang good. We're throwing on high velocity and then a 45 round mag. The high velocity brings us up to 1,062, but without it, we're getting pretty close to, you know, not being worth it. So kind of the same thing here. We could get rid of high velocity and throw on a Jack Glassless, or we could maybe get rid of the moat and throw on a Jack Glassless. But those are some options there if you prefer that. If you're okay with the iron sight build, this is my iron sight build for the BP50. If you want an optic for the BP50, I would lean towards probably going for the Jack Glassless. I mean, wow, that thing shoots straight. I mean, wow, it's only 880 meters per second, so I would just probably restrict this to close map. If you're big map, you might try getting rid of the moat and then throwing on high velocity. It's just gonna shake a little bit more because that moat actually does a lot for taking away visual recoil. So just keep that in mind. I would probably opt for the moat with the Jack Glassless, and that thing is a beam. Now we have some really special builds coming up, some that blow these ones out of the water. So do not go anywhere and make sure you hang around because the builds are just gonna get crazier. Moving on to number 5, it is the BAL 27. Now this got a major buff in the most recent update, okay? They completely changed the recoil pattern, right? They decreased horizontal recoil, they changed the overall recoil mitigation, and they decreased the overall recoil deviation. On top of that, combined with the new recoil attachments we just got, a gun that used to be horrifically unstable to shoot is now a laser beam. I'm gonna show you the build here in a second, but we wanna make sure we check out the time to kill. Side note, if you guys have played the game and you notice that the starter pistol is significantly weaker, that was something that also happened inside of the patch notes. They majorly reduced, almost halved the fire rate, down from 375 down to 240. They are going to be adjusting this. This is Sledgehammer Games, the developer of MW3. They said feedback heard. We've made some fire rate improvements for the Core 45 that we expect to release soon. So by the time that you're watching this video, hopefully soon after, they will have kind of rebuffed the fire rate for the Core 45. I like the starter pistol not being super overpowered, especially if someone lands in behind you and they can just chunk you with a pistol. I like a little bit of a weaker starter pistol, so that way if you find a gun, you're in the advantage, but just something to be aware of. A nice little change there. Shout out to Modern Warzone for sharing that news there. All right, let's get back to the TTK chart. You can see we have the STG, the Holger 2.6. We saw the MTZ 5.56 kills faster than all of them, especially when you factor in the ADS time. And the exact same thing happens with the BP50. If you factor in the ADS time, it rockets below everything else because it's just such a snappy weapon to use. Now, we also have the BAL 27, and just kind of to clear it up, you can see it's pretty much line on line with the BP50. BP50 is a little bit better under that 25 meter range. BAL comes up a little bit more, and I used to never recommend this weapon because it was such a pain to shoot, but with the most recent update and the new attachments that come with it, the BAL 27 is actually shooting. You can see very fast fire rate, very controllable. It has a 60 round mag, where the BP50 only has a 45 round mag. And it's very, very controllable. Now, kind of a weird thing from this one, I actually noticed that this gun responds really well when it comes to firing aim stability, which is one of the key attachments that we often track, firing aim stability. I didn't rock the paracord for this because I noticed the gun shot straighter with the Bruin heavy support grip. We still kept the quartermaster. We threw on a 60 round mag because the default mag is 30. We have the jack glassless, and then we have the high velocity rounds as well, bringing us up to 1,040. I do not recommend running this gun with the iron sight. I personally don't like it. If you're fine with it, you could throw on something like a barrel, which would give us even more bullet velocity, or maybe even a stock as well, like the Ardent, which will help take it down. But I noticed I found more benefit from the Bruin heavy support and its firing aim stability than a stock that otherwise technically does more. Don't ask why. I ran through all the recoil plots. I've tried them all. And this is my meta BAL 27 build that I found that kills almost as fast as the BP50, more damage per mag, and might be the right gun for you. Make sure you take a screenshot. Now, it's important to know that the BAL, the BP, the MTZ, they're definitely going to be fun weapons, especially in the right player's hands aggressively. But guns like the Holger 2.6, the STG, and a couple more, especially one that I'm about to show you later, are going to be big map dominance. And this one shocked me. When I started looking through the numbers, the PKM, and it is the standard PKM, not the conversion kit, does exceptionally well in the new meta with the new attachment. So we have the STG, the Holger 2.6. The other weapons we mentioned earlier might be a little bit more fitting for kind of that mid-range, close range, but let's throw on the PKM, or the Pulliam Yacht 7.62. It is like line on line with the Holger 2.6. And obviously, if you factor in ADS speed, it's not going to be as good, right? This is going to be a power position player's gun. Whether you like rotating early, you don't like getting in the mix, and maybe you don't like sniping and you like consistent damage, I'm telling you, a full team rocking this PKM would be horrifying for me as a player because it has so much damage per mag and it shoots incredibly straight with the new quartermaster suppressor. Okay. I mean, it's got like this little side-to-side shake thing going on, but you can just rain down hate non-stop with this weapon. I'm telling you, live pinging people through smokes, rocking this with Combat Scout, and wall banging people, like, this is a problem, and it kills just as fast as that Holger 2.6. Yes, the aim down sight is 100% going to be slower. I would not suggest this for a super aggressive player, but if you are posted up, I can't imagine a better gun to have in your hand. Oh my goodness, you throw a thermal on this thing? Don't even get me started on thermals, okay? Quartermaster suppressor, heavy barrel, Bruin heavy support grip. You unfortunately cannot rock, and it would be really useful because this gun kind of has some like side-to-side shake. You can't rock the new grip on this PKM. Otherwise, I would 100% throw it on there. We have the high grain rounds, which help bring us up to 1,048 meters per second. If you want a little bit less recoil, you could throw on something like the high velocity rounds as well, if you don't like so much horizontal shake. But honestly, I think it's not going to affect that many people. And then jack glassless, or if you want to get super toxic, you could throw on something like the FSS Spectre Therm or the Hollow Therm sight as well, wherever that one is. Little tip, if you didn't know this, there's the Hollow Therm. You can press your right trigger, and then you can start to select things like, oh, I want to look at all the thermals. Boom. There are all your thermal sights. So quick little tip for you. If you didn't know that, make sure to drop a like on the video. Options there. I personally prefer the FSS Microtherm, especially if you throw on the Atomic Disintegrator, which is the Fallout bundle, which is definitely a little bit pay to win. It kind of looks bad in here, but man, in the actual Warzone, it's pretty pay to win, let's be honest. Okay. For the average player, we'll say throw on the jack glassless. The PKM, you got to give it a try. Do not rock the conversion kit because that thing got nerfed and it's not nearly as good. This can put some hate downrange, 100 round default mag, very good time to kill. And with the new quartermaster is a lot straighter to shoot than it ever was before. Moving on to loadout number 7. This one, once again, is special. It is the Superi. We've talked about it in the past. Everyone's like, Isaac, the Superi, what are you talking about? It's an SMG. Yeah, but it kills faster than all of them, and you factor in ADS time, and it's at the bottom of the list. Okay, the Superi's insane. And with the new quartermaster, it gets even better. I mean, what are we talking about? And the ADS speed is incredibly fast. Whether you want to rock this as a sniper support, which we'll cover sniper supports in tomorrow's video, or just as a main AR inside a big map. Maybe you want to rock this with a shotgun because the Reclaimer got buffed. We're going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. This could be an amazing shoddy SMG AR combo build. Or even a sniper support as well. It's mean, okay? We throw on the Quartermaster, which helps take away a lot of that recoil. We have the Hound Heavy Barrel. We're throwing on a high grain because we want to get that bullet velocity up to 920. And then we have the Monolith stock in the 40-round mag. The best thing about the Quartermaster, we used to talk about running something like the X10 Black Kite, but that would affect our aim down sight speed by a lot. Plus 46%. And the only reason we did that is because we wanted that vertical recoil control, because you can't put a Spirit Fire suppressor on a SMG. Well, now we have this, which controls all that recoil for us. It only hurts our aim down sight speed by 8%. And then we can throw on a high grain, which doesn't hurt our aim down sight speed at all. So now we have a rocket of a gun that only has 246 millisecond ADS. That's like an SMG ADS. 920 meters per second bullet velocity, and a faster time to kill than most other ARs and LMGs. Now, I can't find a build for this gun where you throw a sight on it where I would really like it, because once again, I think that high grain is necessary. The Monolith stock and the Quartermaster are necessary, but if there's ever a gun that had a clean iron sight and you think you could shoot at long range, I think it would be this gun. Definitely something worth giving a try. I would really love this on small map. I've used this to drop 30 bombs on big map. You can shoot it straight, especially with the new Quartermaster. Make sure you take a screenshot. Now, this next one is shocking, okay? It is pure dominance. I did not expect it to be this good, but let's go ahead and take a look, okay? It is the TAC Eradicator. They buffed the TAC Eradicator in the most recent season update, okay? We'll scroll up, we'll see exactly what they did. They increased the min damage. So basically, the minimum amount of damage that a gun will do is the gun at its maximum range. So they could be 1,000 meters away, and if you touch them at a minimum, it'll do 28. It used to do only 24. They also buffed the damage range by 6 meters. And you might be thinking, Isaac, like, an extra 4 damage, does that really affect the time to kill at all? Oh my God. Oh my God. Absolutely. Like, it unbelievably affects the time to kill. Look at that. Compare that. We'll get rid of all the other clutter. Okay. Compare that to the Holger 2.6. It kills like 100 milliseconds faster than the Holger 2.6. 240 milliseconds faster than the SDG. The TAC Eradicator is absolutely going to be meta inside of this season. And this is the build that I'm currently rocking. Okay, you guys know I prefer my iron sight builds, especially for something like this TAC, which has a very clean iron sight. This is like the easiest iron sight to shoot in the game, in my opinion, right? You have this little dot up at the top. That's where your bullet is going. As long as I can see a decent amount below it, where I can see if someone drop shots and then I can follow them down, that's a good iron sight for me. The STG, it cuts a line right at the bottom where I can't see below my impact point, so I don't like it. But this, very controllable, incredible damage per mag. It comes with a default 75-round mag because it's an LMG, and it shoots missiles at long ranges. If you guys have ever gotten in fights where you feel like you're just peppering someone at long range, not anymore, okay? The TAC is unbelievable. We have high velocity, which brings us to 1,300 meters per second. Keep in mind, the charge barrel Moors is like 1,400 meters per second. That's the one where you have to like charge up, like, whoop, bam. Every single bullet is up. Okay, I'm getting a little bit excited for a loadout video here, okay? Paracord grip, Quartermaster, Conquer long barrel, and the Tekverte core stock, okay? That helps out with recoil control. You guys can see here, it shoots extremely straight. Definitely something that I think even like the average high skill player, like an above average player could handle. If you wanted to, you could get rid of high velocity. You still have 1,000, almost 1,100 meters per second, 1092. You can throw on a Jack Glassless, and now you get the firing aiming stability benefit of the Jack Glassless. And it's got a little bit of a shake thing going on, but with the quartermaster, I mean, boys, it's going to be a problem. Okay, this is my optic build for the TAC Eradicator. Make sure you take your screenshot. And if you want an absolute hyper beam, throw on the iron sight, throw on the high velocity rounds, and then you have a 1300 meters per second laser beam with insane long range potential. Make sure you take your screenshot. You guys learned something new, discovered something new in the meta, whether it's a new build, whether it's a new attachment, or whether it's a new gun that you didn't even expect, like the TAC Eradicator coming out of the blueprint. Make sure you are subscribed here and make sure you have that bell icon because you want to be the first ones to find out about these builds. Stuff like this, people start to catch wind 3, 4, 5 days later. So if you want to be the first to enjoy and dominate your lobbies, you find out here at the Academy first. Make sure you have those notifications on. Close range loadout video is tomorrow. So those are my long range weapons in terms of automatic rifles. We have LMGs, we have ARs, everything from close range to mid range, but we're gonna cover 2 snipers real quick that you need to consider. Okay, I have my Kar 98K build that I think is better than the rest of the Kar 98 builds. We've talked about it in the past. The whole key behind it is the X10 Intellis scope. You can see here, it helps out my ADS speed by -1%. Typically, when you add on a sniper scope, it hurts like it would with what most people rock, which is the SPX. It hurts by 13%. Or the range caller, which is the Kar 98K scope, hurts by 13%. Mine helps by 1%. On top of that, it combines the laser attachment and the scope into one, which gives us an extra attachment. You can either rock a stock. We've talked about in the past how you could rock something like the no stock, but it makes your gun really bouncy. And I actually rock the recon sling because it reduces my flinch by 50%, allowing me, especially in small map, to take some shots and still get headshots. And it really pisses off a lot of people, which is a lot of fun. Okay, I have 75 meter effective damage range by having the high grain, the precision, and the sonic suppressor. And then this is my R98 meta build. Make sure you take a screenshot. Moving on to the final build of the day. I actually currently hold my personal record with this in a regular mode, regular duos and regular solos, 48 kills, and it is the hit scan Moors. It is still so good. The Kar 98 can only one-shot headshot out to 75 meters. Give this gun a try. It can one-shot headshot across the entire map. It has unbelievable bullet velocity of like 1,500 when it's fully charged up, allowing you to just completely rip people across the map. You guys know I have the Heinrichter hybrid scope, which gives me a faster aim down sight. It also allows me to track closer and then zoom and have a refined aim point as need be. Obviously, make sure you charge up the barrel all the way when you do use it. With the photonic charge barrel, we have the Razorhawk Light for the faster aim down sight. The HVP anti-material slug is important in order to get that one-shot potential combined with the photonic. We have the Heinrichter hybrid, which we've talked about in the past, actually speeds up, even though it's a variable zoom, speeds up by 7%. And then we have the super light stock for a little bit faster everything. Faster aim down sight, faster sprint to fire, faster sprint speed, moving around the map. It's just all in all a better weapon to help us feel a little bit snappier, especially since a lot of times how I use this gun is I'll keep my weapon charged and I'll strafe around. And then when I find someone, I'll zoom in. All right, so I'll have my gun loaded up for the long range zoom, and then I'll have it charged, I'll strafe, I'll kind of pop up and down. Maybe I'll see where they're at, and then I'll zoom in, and then I'll stand up over cover and pop out. That's kind of how I rock with this gun. The charge is not that much of a disadvantage. Honestly, most of the time when you're using a charge barrel, you're in that power position already. And then once you get the knock, you push forward with smokes, and you pull your SMG, and you'll be fine. Speaking of SMGs, don't miss tomorrow's video. That's the close range loadout. Make sure, if you haven't already, you take a screenshot of the charge barrel Moors. I dropped 48 kills with this Moors. It is absolutely the move. It's my favorite weapon to use. Please don't use it in my lobbies. That is the top 10 long range loadouts. Typically, I don't get to 10. Usually I only get like top 8, top 7. But with these new attachments and the new recoil adjustments on some of these guns, the long range meta's in a really good spot. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like. A huge shout out again to Fume for sponsoring today's video. And if you want to catch this live, make sure to join me live over on Twitch, or keep an eye out. I've been doing some live streams over here on the main YouTube as well. Okay, drop a like on the way out, help get this video into the algorithm, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.